Flint Sparks is a Zen teacher and psychologist dedicated to assisting people in the unending path of growing up and waking up. His academic training includes graduate degrees in both biology and psychology. He has extensive postdoc training in mindfulness-based psychotherapy and group therapy with specialty training in both the Hakomi method and internal family systems model. Not only is he an experienced therapist and a master teacher whose work assists people in the skillful removal of blocks to love, he acts as a clear and caring resource on the path of freedom from unnecessary suffering. His traditional Zen training began at the San Francisco Zen Center and continued at the Austin Zen Center, which he founded and nourished in its early years. He is currently a resident teacher at Appamada, a center for Zen practice and inquiry in Austin, Texas. Today, his teaching and consulting bridges the fields of health psychology, the psychology of contemplative practices, and traditional Zen Buddhist practice. In the tumult of our daily lives, with uncertainty in so many arenas around us, it is crucial not to withdraw into a cocoon of self-protection. It's more important than ever to learn what it means to grow up and wake up into our full potential as human beings. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Flint Sparks.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you as well for braving the elements, although right now it's quite beautiful. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here tonight. And thank you, Miriam and Catherine, for your introduction. I was leading a retreat, a meditation retreat, in the UK about 10 days ago. We were in the Lake District. And in that early spring time in the Lake District, it was very beautiful, but rainy. And one afternoon, I took a walk right before the retreat, trying to kind of get very focused and clear. And the winds and the rains that had come off the Irish Sea through the mountains and over the lakes had begun to die down, and the sun began to come out. And I'd already spoken to Catherine about arranging tonight's talk. And you know, you're always looking for inspiration, the one thing that will help you know exactly how to begin and where to go to deliver the message that you find most important. And so that afternoon, I stopped in the sunlight that came through from the early morning clouds, just like today. And this is what I saw. And then I knew where to begin. And because three questions came to me, questions that I thought would guide our discoveries and our search tonight for what it means to grow up and wake up. And the questions that came to me standing on that little rocky road watching the new spring lambs in the Lake District was first, I thought, what is consciousness aside from experience? There are ways in which we can study consciousness technically. We can speak about it abstractly, and we can understand some amazing things, but really it comes down to our personal experience. How does this human consciousness unfold? And what is a mind, if we're going to study the mind, without a body? That really, in some ways, the mind is this whole organism, of course. And your speakers that you have in the series do a wonderful job of helping you understand the complexity and the beauty of how we come to be what we are as human beings. And so I was thinking in that afternoon, we need to talk about experience, we need to talk about embodied experience, and then the real question came. You have to wait for the one to rise to the top. The real question was, what is a life without love? We can spend a lot of time in the laboratory. We can understand consciousness. We can understand the mind and how it develops and how it works. But what about this, this word that is almost taboo for a scientist? You know, I spent a lot of time training as a scientist. And we didn't really talk about the mind, much less love. But this is really the question that's at the heart of things. What would a life be without love? What is it that motivates us to do most of the things we do? What are the things that shape the personality that we have? Most of it is about maintaining, wishing for, sustaining, being fearful of losing love. And so I hope that you'll allow us tonight to spend some time speaking about something that is outside of the laboratory. We're going to step outside of the lab tonight. We're going to speak about things that, of course, we learn in the laboratory, but we're going to step much further afield from it and see what we can learn. This opens the possibility of going deeply into both psychological teachings and skillful means of transformation, and also spiritual. This image that you see now is, of course, of Kuan Yin, which is an image that comes from Buddhism. And this is an image of healing compassion. And I love this one particularly because it's holding up this vessel as if there's something that it's offering. Or is it? If someone were to come to you and hold this and with this gesture, what does the gesture mean? Am I offering you something or am I receiving something? It can be either, right?